Welcome, everyone, to Andromeda 7, your celestial gateway. Hey, it is so good to see you guys, and so good to have everybody in chat with us as well. And of course, those silently watching at home, you know who you are.
Yeah, you do.
We don't know who you are, but we know you're there and we know you're watching. So that's
I
the
know
cool
who you
part.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the cool part. Wow, I had a good day today. I'm feeling really good. So I'm excited about this. So we had a viewer who had expressed some interest kind of in this topic. And so we decided that it would be something really good to address and talk about. So we are going to do that. So, am I cursed? Ancestral programming. But before we do that, let's go ahead and see who's in chat. Of course, we have our number one top chatter, Scotty Boy comes in first. How you doing, Scotty Boy? Sip sip. Hope you're having a good night and all is well for you, my friend. Chloe is taking a shower right now, but she'll be back. She'll come back
Oh,
She's
in.
back.
Yeah,
She's back.
she'll come on in.
She's all
Hello,
squeaky
beloved
clean.
abstract. How are you, dear
good.
sir? How are you? Yeah, let's see who else we got. Who else we got?
That was Mary Mansfield. Hi, Mary.
Morgan Snow, good to see you. Wonderful to have you in chat. It's good to see some new icons in there. Thank you, thank you. Let's see, I'm scrolling. Getting to
I
it.
see a new face.
Loretta Enigma, good to see you as well. Wonderful. Sweet Mary wins. Hello. How are you? I hope you're doing good too. Everyone is healthy, happy, and doing great. Let's see who else. I think that is it for the moment.
Slightly slanted sleuth, our friend Steve.
Oh, Steve, how are you? Long time no talkie or see.
And
Slightly slanted
Squirrel
sleuth for the
Buddy.
truth. Yeah, nice.
Squirrel
Good
Buddy.
to see
Yeah.
you as well. Oh, Mary Mansfield, how are you? I hope you're feeling better. Saw your post on Facebook. Oh, my Lanta, you got a lot going on there, gal. You got a lot going on. Hope you're doing better. So get lots of rest and don't be too hard on yourself. I have a feeling you're very hard on yourself. All right. Well, anyway, so as everybody starts coming in, we got about 20 people watching us right now, which is great. A little higher than normal. So I think it has a lot to do with the topic and the subject matter. And but first, before we get into that, did you guys all have a good week? Teresa, how was your week? Did you do,
Busy.
busy? You're in the middle of trying to
Busy
sell
and
your house. You got that up and
yeah.
down thing, and you had some bad storms last night, didn't you?
Oh, raging storms took out
And some lightning.
trees. Took out
Yeah.
yeah.
So
It
you're
wasn't
safe and
too
sound.
bad, but yeah,
Yep. Everything's
it's okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Good. How about you, Sophia? Did you have a good week?
I won.
What? What'd you win?
I'm still gainfully employed in every fashion I was the week before.
Mm,
And
that's a plus.
yeah, I'm part of the solution, not part of the problem, and plan to stay that way.
Okay, I like
There
it.
it
Positive
is.
thinking. Yep.
Have to.
You have to stay positive, no doubt
Mm,
about it. Hey
mm-mm-mm.
Brian, how was your week? It's good to see you and glad you're here.
Yeah,
Yep.
had some good days, had some bad days. So, all
Yeah.
in all, it was just a week.
Did you have more good days than bad days?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's good.
Bad days are only like today.
Yeah. There are no bad days, just bad moments, right?
Challenging
Right.
moments.
He's on a little bit of a delay, so take a
Yep.
second to let that catch up. How about Nick and Jasmine? How was your week? Nick?
My week's been eventful, but I'm good.
Good. And Jasmine?
My week's been so busy. I thought it was Friday 3 days ago.
Yeah,
Oh, you know it's a busy week when that happens. Holy.
Aircon some time has been off all week.
Wait till you retire and you can't remember what day it is. Try that one. We
Yeah,
do that all the
Oh
time
yeah,
now,
we do
huh?
all the time.
Is today Friday or Saturday or what? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, I thought what we do is we'll go ahead and play the video and just kind of let you guys absorb that. And then I have a couple of slides to share, nothing major, kind of simple. And then we'll get into the discussion on this and get this going and talk about it. So let me cue this up and I'll play the video and we'll come back and chitty chat about it. How's that sound?
Let's do it.
Hey, Steve Bow, you're in. Good. Glad you're here. Perfect timing.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Why do bad things happen to me? Am I just cursed? Are these just family traits? When you think about genetics and inherited traits, you probably think about things like hair color, eye color, and skin color. But did you know that ancestral programs, in a sense, can be inherited too? This is known as ancestral trauma, also referred to as intergenerational or generational trauma. In the first 7 years of life, our examples of how to be in the world are directly related to our parents or those who have raised us. We observe and absorb all the information they presented to us by watching and witnessing in how they operate in the world. They use their words and actions as well as ancestral patterns and programming that were passed down from their parents or guardians. In other words, it's learned behavior. For example, let's say your family or parents were raised in a very poor economic situation. They are teaching you what lack and limitation are. You are experiencing what lack and suffering is. And the reason is to have a better understanding of what you don't want in your life. It will be the catalyst for growth and to ensure you do not follow in your parents' or guardians' footsteps. How do you know what you want until you know what you don't want? So there comes a time when you decide, I'm not going to live this way in the future. This is the motivation for the soul who creates to ensure a different outcome rather than what your parents or guardians experienced. So we have two choices: install the program we received as children, or rewrite our current narrative and change those patterns and beliefs, and ultimately forge a new path and an understanding of ourselves and how we want to see our future. So why do our parents or guardians perpetuate the cycle? This is because they did not know how to activate the changes they desired and continued the line of scarcity and limitation, as well as learned behavior. When we see the truth that we can break these chains and patterns by simply being aware of them and course correcting ourselves, we know we have the tools to create a new outcome for ourselves and others. Generational traits can be addressed and potentially healed through self-awareness, introspection, and practices that foster emotional regulation and personal transformation. This involves challenging negative thought patterns, developing healthier coping mechanisms, and fostering emotional resilience. You can empower yourself to become an agent of change, not only healing your own wounds, but also influencing the well-being of future generations. Ultimately, the goal is to transmute the inherited trauma into a source of strength and wisdom, breaking the cycle of suffering and promoting healing for oneself and one's lineage. So when we say we are cursed, we are just accepting the program we are taught to believe in. We don't realize that we can change this behavior and remove the limitations that are pre-programmed. Taking responsibility for your own perspective is the key to releasing old ways of thinking and creating a new narrative for yourself and others. You have the power to change. and nothing and no one can do it for you. You must decide and take the effective measures and steps to create a new self narrative. Now let's join the panel for another fascinating discussion. All right. Well, there we go. That kind of started it off. So, I have a couple of slides I would like to just kind of go over with you. It is very basic and simple, but you'll get the gist and the idea. And then we'll talk about it a little bit more. So, this first one is the intergenerational trauma. Trauma can be passed down to us from our ancestors and can change the expression of our DNA. So we've got grandparents here. And grandma, she had low self esteem, domestic violence. Her mother was an alcoholic with PTSD. Boy, did grandma put a lot on her plate. And grandpa, he had anxiety and neglectful parents. And through epigenetics, which is essentially it's how your environmental and behavioral can influence which genes are turned on or off, or how strongly they are expressed without changing the DNA code itself. These changes can affect a cell's characteristics and function, and in some cases can be passed down to future generations. So we get to the parents. Mom, she experienced trauma and abandonment, anxiety, and depression. And dad, he had ADHD and repressed his emotions. And then they had a baby. And so the child has behavioral changes without having experienced trauma and ultimately feels stuck. So that's epigenetics. That's how it's handed down. It's through the ancestral line, the lineage, and it's their behavior. It's the behavior that they bring in, and it's what the children pick up through the behavior. It's all learned behavior. So, what types of things can we do to start healing all that? Well, rediscover who you are and what you want. What do you want out of life? Do you want more of the same, or do you want to make some real changes in your life? And understand these changes are going to be really difficult. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You really have to do the hard work. In spirituality, it's called the shadow work. And that is getting to the root of your traumas and your drama and the things that are going on in your life that are not working out for you. Also, spending time on your hobbies. Now, this is a good way to redirect those energies. Find something that you're passionate about, that you feel good about, that you want to spend time doing so that you are not spending time thinking about what's wrong in your life. You're thinking about things that make you happy, bring you joy. So you want to shift that energy over to those positive types of things. And also radical acceptance for your feelings. You got to really make some radical changes, and you've got to practice self forgiveness. Now, everyone, no matter what you've ever done in your life, is all worthy of forgiveness. And forgiveness starts with the self. You don't need to ask forgiveness from anyone else. It doesn't work that way. In spirituality, you can just forgive in your own mindset, and that's enough. You don't have to involve anybody else in it. So, for example, maybe you were abused as a child. You have to find a way within yourself to find forgiveness and understand that that learned behavior hurt people, that that's where it comes from. It travels through that lineage. Also, find a place to tell your story, even if you use a journal to write down your feelings. And I highly suggest this because it is such a wonderful tool, and it's a great way to put those thoughts and ideas down and how you're truly feeling. Because in those moments, you are expressing the hurt, the anger, the doubt, the fear. All of that is coming out on paper. And the good thing about journals are you can go back and reread and see what you were working on and how did you work through that. So really important stuff. And take your time. There's no rush. You don't have to rush through this stuff, but you got to start somewhere. And also practicing self-care. Sometimes in life, We get really, really busy. I've got to get this done. This has to be done. That's got to. Tasks come up. They can overwhelm you. And your body will shut you down in ways you didn't expect. So you could be, burning the candle at both ends. And then the next thing you know, you got a cold or you picked up the flu or something happened. It's your soul's way of slowing you down and getting you to get the rest so that you can rejuvenate those cells and so that you can have a clearer mindset. So self-care is key to all of this. Okay? No one's going to care about you but you. You have to be the one that creates the self-care in your life. And also developing positive coping skills, that's really important as well. So, learning about self development, healing the self love, all the things that we've been talking about. We've done hundreds of shows. We've addressed many of these topics. If you haven't seen them, if you're new to the channel, go back and take a look at some of them because they'll help you, give you the tools. And we spent tons of time on it ourselves with our own self growth and working through traumas and drama and all of that to get to this point to where we can actually help others and teach this and show you how to do it and give you the tools so that you as a primary person can take care of all of that stuff on your own. So also blessing and manifesting, those are two big ones as well. Start blessing things. Be the word I'm looking for. Be thankful and grateful. Have gratitude is huge. If you can just start with little things, I'm so grateful for my car. It started this morning, got me to work. I'm grateful for the lunch I had today. It was wonderful. I enjoyed it. I'm grateful for the roof over my head, so it keeps that rain and sun and wind and everything off of me. Any little thing you can find gratefulness for is going to be very beneficial, and it's a positive way to go at this. So this is the simple, optimized version of it. But what I'd like to do now is talk to the panel and kind of get an idea of how they have done the work for themselves and how they get through these traumas. And Teresa, tonight I'd like to start off with you. I know in your past you've had some real crazy traumas and dramas, and I thought maybe you could speak about that a little bit.
Well, the first thing I'd like to share with folks is something I shared with someone a few days ago in the community. And I've had this even with people who aren't in the spiritual community come up, constantly
Mm-hmm.
come up, are the questions of why is this happening to me? As you put in the YouTube description, you did a good job of that. You put it in there. And it took a lot of challenges and a lot of emotions throughout my life to get past certain things, addictions, and um, feeling of unworthiness, feeling of, not having value. And I don't know if it came from ancestral programming or not. A lot of it was baggage carried over from other lifetimes because I'm one of those who happens to believe in reincarnation.
Mm-hmm.
And so, without getting into all the different things that happened to me, just, we all have a certain degree of challenges and traumas. Sometimes not even trauma. The word trauma sets me off sometimes because it's experiences. And it's taken me a while to understand that everything that we experience energetically in our life, whether good or bad, depending on how we react to it and respond to it, um, it was all for a purpose of setting up goals for ourselves and lessons to be learned to expand our soul
Did you feel
energy.
cursed?
And so I felt, yes, well, there were times when I would say something like that only because I heard it in movies or I heard it other people. It's not that I felt it, But I would say, what the hell? I would argue with God, what I thought was a being outside of myself. And I would
Mhm.
say, what is wrong? What am I doing wrong? Why is this happening to me? What am I just freaking cursed or what? Was I born into this to be punished? Am I here because this is hell on earth? What the
Mhm.
hell? What do I need to do to make it better? I've
Mhm.
done the best I can. So, what is your problem with me? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you allowing this to happen to me? And then I'd hear, well, your great great grandfather had that issue, or the reason I'm the way I am is because of my aunts and uncles, and you'll probably get this too. And oh, gee, that's really what I want to hear on top of all these other problems I'm having, right?
Mhm.
So, but I've had that feeling. I've had those outbursts many times growing
Mhm.
up through the years, but I've come to the understanding that there is no one, no thing outside of myself, whether they think they can or they can't, or whether it's perceived or imaginary, or it's just a thought in my own head, but nothing can affect me but me. So everything that happens around me, if I feed into it, if I suck in that energy, if I allow it to become my focus, then I am manifesting my own downfall, so to speak. I
Mhm.
like what Chloe said. Maybe you're cursing yourself. Yeah, you are in a way, if you want to use that term. But it's all about energy, and it's all about respecting yourself and loving yourself enough not to treat yourself that way in the first place.
And not
So
to
when
believe that
somebody
narrative.
and not to believe that narrative, it's just a false narrative. It's a lie, and it's part of that
But
negative
my
aspect of
house
your
is
inner
falling down
self.
around me and life sucks and how do you
Yeah,
explain
what?
all that? How do you explain that, Teresa?
Yeah, you
I
can't
can hear it.
explain it. You can't explain it. It's just it's well, there is one way to explain it, and I just did it the other day. Or actually, yeah, yesterday after the storm when all the
Mhm.
power went out in my house, and I'm trying to sell my house right now. There's loads of people walking through this place, right? So it's like, well, not loads. There could be more, but their power line got affected, and you know those electrical outlets that trip. You're supposed to have them in bathrooms and around kitchen areas for safety and
Mhm.
GFCI. I don't know, but they got blown. One got blown out by the storm, and it tripped two or three others that were on the same circuit. They're not supposed to be on the same circuit. I
Mhm.
didn't know that. I just knew, oh, great. Now I've got parts of my house that aren't lighting up in the middle of tours. What is this? And then I'm told, oh, it's probably a major hit to the main circuit box. You might need to upgrade that. And I'm like, oh, come on, that's a lot of money, and I can't do anything until I sell the place. What I do, I just put what $11,500 into fixing this place. I don't have any more to give. And so I almost went there with that. What do you want from me?
Mhm.
Um, and then I realized, wait a minute. This is a blessing. This is not a curse. This is not bad luck.
Mhm.
Nobody's doing this to me, not even mother or the force of nature. This is a blessing because it's another opportunity for yet another upgrade to this place. Because I've been upgrading this place to make it a home for someone who's going to come in and feel this energy and make this their life, make this their nest. And I want them to feel happy and welcome. And the spirit of the house does too. It's changed. The spirit of this house has been changed and transformed by us by giving
Mhm.
it the love and the attention it should have had for the past 15 years.
Right.
It's now a beautiful place for someone else to start a family, for
Mhm.
someone to enjoy the same way I
So
did.
the point is
So it's a
you didn't get caught up into it. You didn't, and just like
right,
Scotty
it's a
Boys,
blessing.
yeah, Scotty Boy's saying here, guess what? As soon as I stopped putting energy into my curse, it went
It went
away.
away.
I'll
Yep.
So
second
guess what,
that
Scotty
motion.
boy? Guess
Mhm.
what, Scotty boy? today is a new day, and we brought a specialist in, and they like, there's nothing wrong with the main power in your house. There's nothing wrong with it. One line got one wire got fried, and it set the others off because they're on the same circuit and shouldn't be. They fixed it in less than a half an hour, and we're out of here at minimal cost. All that worrying for even that small moment puts that energy out there and creates, because that's what we are. We're creators. We create these circumstances and we don't realize it
Mm-hmm.
by our thought. So we switch that around to what's good about this situation.
Right. You want to see the positive, not you don't want to focus on the negative because that's
Yeah,
just going to bring you more. And
yeah,
Steve says, I've broken any curses in my life. If such things exist, because I know who I am and the power I have to create my own reality. Absolutely spot on. Take control, take the reins. Don't fall into the
yeah.
negative Nelly syndrome. Don't do that. Because if you do, you're just going to get more of that. But if you don't, you have an opportunity to change it.
But
Absolutely.
do you see how easy it is, that chart that you had? You see how easy that is, you all, to fall into the trap, the mental
Mm-hmm.
trap you set for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That yes, there are things that happen genetically in the bloodline, in the body, but it doesn't have to be. Just because it can doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
you have to accept it. See, that's setting up a block. You're
Mm-hmm.
blocking yourself because
Right.
you're saying, okay, just because it's possible, it will happen. Not necessarily. It
Yeah.
could be that they were experiencing what they experienced in their lifetime for their reason and in their journey. That's nothing to do with me and my now.
And I could hear Beloved Abstract saying, ego. And in this particular situation, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you want to know how I'm
Interesting.
getting past it? That's how I'm getting past it now. I
I
used
love
to
that.
curse
Mm-hmm.
myself, and I
Yeah.
at others and at things that exist outside of self, and I don't do that anymore. Now I internalize it and go, this is my responsibility. I'm going to suffer the consequences of my actions or reactions.
Right.
Nobody else but me.
Yeah. Because you're what? 100% responsible for how you feel, right? You're
Yeah,
responsible for how you feel. You're not responsible for
yeah,
what other people think about you, but
Yep.
you have the power to think how you're going to think. So, yeah.
yeah,
Sophia, what's your take on all this?
Well, I like what you're throwing down because we do create our own happiness or unhappiness
Mm-hmm.
by the thoughts, frequency, and vibration that we allow and entertain in our space.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So, and I really like what you guys were talking about as far as like learned behavior. Like some people, if they're not really like awake yet, and some that are, they don't realize what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They've been that way for so long, and they're like, I don't get it. And then, rah, rah,
yeah,
rah, gripe, 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 whatever. And it's just like, that's the part where I just pray that people see it for themselves. Because until it's their truth, until they, telling somebody something, come on, man.
right, yeah,
What if somebody told you gonna tell me something, right? Until I see it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's just someone else's perspective. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I ask Source when I feel compelled to, and I always ask before I interject with anybody's energy, but praying for people is just a little bit different. But I always hope that I'm not really get down with hope, but my intention is to edify and encourage when I am called to do so. So
right,
that's what I do. But here's my take on it. Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
was so excited about this topic
yeah,
because the family curse thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I have been studying for almost a decade, like intensely studying, okay, is the concept of orlog. Okay, so orlog is kind of compared to the grandparent portion, in your slide, what the grandmother on both sides and the grandfather on both sides experienced,
Mm-hmm.
what family legacy energy, which is what orlog is. It's the foundational, where you came from.
Mm-hmm.
What's that one? I
Parental
think.
programming.
Well, no, I think it's Bible. Well, yes, yes, but I
Mm-hmm.
think it's Bible. It says the sins of the father will be visited upon the children.
Yes.
That
Mm-hmm.
I would say is like the most common thing, and
Mm-hmm.
here's the cool part though. Just because you may come into this lifetime with what some people would call heavy or log doesn't mean you have to camp there, you know? Because in the Orlog is the established pattern within the family lines. Okay, so imagine a loom, if you will. So, like the Orlog for me is everything that has been established by those that went before you. Weird is the weave that goes this way. So, with every breath, every heartbeat, every intention, every thought, you can work to the best with what you have, instead of thinking, oh, well, it's always been this way, it'll always be this way, cancel clear.
Mm-hmm.
When I feel that you are ready to be spiritually enlightened, to know that you have a choice. And then the other part that I think is amazing is when spirit starts bringing people into your life like coincidence, like bump into, at the grocery store or the gas
Uh-huh.
station, when you finally get to the point where you're seeing things that were not in your control, you
Mm-hmm.
still can control you. And I
Yep.
feel when you come to
Yes.
that resolve, spirits will be like, oh, they're paying attention. Okay. Send
Yep.
send this
Yep.
person in, aisle 17, they're paying attention. I really
Mm-hmm.
feel that spirit is very intricately involved in our
Tuned.
lives, whether we acknowledge it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And our ancestors, which are our Orlog, they're our biggest fans. So if you feel your family cursed, it can be working against some of your biggest allies, which are those that have gone before you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps entertaining an alternative to something that isn't serving you. What's the worst? Kind of maybe look at the other side of it for a minute and
Mm-hmm.
see if that does something different to help. Because a lot of people that are watching this kind of show, they're instead of they're moving, but sometimes not forward as quickly, and
Mm-hmm.
learning to love yourself and the self care that you mentioned about. So you have Orlog, which is what has gone before you. It's the primal layers or foundational energy that we bring in. And then weird is what we're doing with every day, every intention. So we can weave a brighter tapestry or darker if you be resonating with some B of the capital S, you can end up with some pretty sticky, what you throw out on the tide comes back on the shore. Um, and then I had something else, but I might save it for later. It has to do with like the individual energy.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to get ahead of everybody because we've got plenty of time to go. But
Yeah. Yeah.
ta-da!
Cool.
That's it
Wow. I
for
love
now.
it. Thank you for that, Sophia. Really
Thank you.
appreciate that. Yeah, that helped a
Awesome.
lot. Nick, you?
Okay. So I personally feel like generational curses are like a catch 22, but instead of it being legal stuff, it's more a mentality thing.
Mm-hmm.
You get born, and then you hear about the family drama, and you're like, our first instinct is going, well, oh no, I'm part of the family, so this falls on
Uh-huh.
me too, and then you get that, oh, I'm
Mm-hmm.
doomed, no hope, I just gotta suck it up and deal with it. No, that whole father sins passed on to the son. Who decided that? No, what's
Yeah.
gonna happen here is the father's gonna get his together.
Who
Okay,
decides it's a weed?
yeah, exactly. I'm not subscribing to that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Subscribe to the channel. Don't just subscribe to that BS.
Or don't. It's up to you.
I mean, if you want to suffer for literally no reason at all, that's your
Mm-hmm.
choice. I just prefer not to do that. So
So you're making a conscious choice to not be that way, to not fall into,
Mm-hmm.
and you could say that is the trap. I mean, if you want to
Mm-hmm.
like say a trap, that would be the trap. The
well,
thing
believe it.
is people don't realize that they can
Yeah,
change it if they want to, but you
yeah,
have to want to.
yeah. The Kabbalion teaches If you think in a way that is a paradox, it is inherently wrong 9 times out of 10. So what is a paradox? Paradox is when you put yourself in a loop that goes over and over again. Your
Right.
entire family believed a shaman of some sort put a whole curse on your entire bloodline. You believing that per generation is putting your entire bloodline into a paradox. So the essential way to actually cure it is to not own the inheritance of that. It makes it go away.
I just realized, I'm sorry to take us off topic. I see your t shirt, Call of Duty
Oh,
Modern Warfare.
oh
Oh
no.
my God, my sister and I are
Monetized.
so into this. We love it. I love the zombies part. She likes the, what is it called? Oh, I can't think of the term.
Multiplayer.
Multiplayer. Thank you. Couldn't find that. I'm sorry, Teresa. You want to make a comment? Sorry about that, Nick. Had to.
You're
That's
good.
okay. She's excited about the Call of Duty. She is
Yeah,
such a gamer.
I love it.
She is so gamey.
Oh, so am I.
I
Close
can't
Jazz.
help it.
I know you
One
are. I know
o'clock in the
you are.
morning.
We know all about
Only
Jasmine.
one?
Yeah, yeah. Only 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Teresa. You were going to make a comment.
That's funny. No, it's just something Nick was saying kind of
Uh huh.
reminded me of, it called to mind the generational or ancestral experiences, if you will. Some of the more traumatic ones often fall along social lines too, right, Lori?
Hmm.
So we can't help but wonder, and I can understand and sympathize with those who feel maybe there's something going on here that's affecting me because back in 300 BC, my Italian relatives were experiencing something that was like a plague, and
Let's
and
use,
then
for
then
example, the
in more modern.
Holocaust. Let,
Yes, thank
let's
you. Go ahead.
let's use the Holocaust example on this one. That's a societal trauma
Uh huh.
that we all needed to go. I know it sounds crazy to hear this, but look at what the changes happened that came out of that after all that. I mean, to allow someone on this planet to do that to those people was horrible, horrific, and should
Yeah.
not have happened. But because it happened, it changed things. It was the catalyst for change. And not to impugn it in any way because it was terrible. And
But it
go
was
ahead.
during that time
Mm-hmm.
in our evolution as a planet, and the evolution, I should say, also of the collective consciousness to experience all of that. And now you will see, we've talked about it on this program before, repeats of the cycle. Nick was
Mm-hmm.
talking about being stuck in a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Society can too. So the collective, therefore, can too. So when you see things happening now, immediately around you, one of the first things, if you're affected that way and thinking along those lines, one of the first things your mind goes to is, oh, it's happening again. And so I'm doomed, or my family's going to be in trouble because we were before. We got away from all of that. We're more advanced people now, but our society is going through something very similar and it has the shades of it. And so we start feeding that like
Mm-hmm.
it's happening. It's happening. Oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
we are cursed. See?
Yeah, you're just reiterating the so-called curse. You're just
Yeah, you're
um,
causing it to recycle. You're bringing about that reality.
you're empowering it,
You're
basically.
you're empowering it. You're
Yeah.
giving it permission as a society. And Sophia's hands went up at some point right as I was starting to talk. You jumped on that, Sophia. What did you want to say?
I was just agreeing and giving props to some viewers. So,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you,
Cool.
though.
All right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So anyway, Nick, you just reminded me of that when you said that because the same holds true for the collective. If we can take individual action to change how we perceive and see things, it can affect others around us like a rippling effect. and that changes society as well.
Yep.
So if you want to see shifts in society's more positive direction, is the more we reject the very idea that this is needs to occur,
Yeah.
we can change the reality of it
Right.
in
We know
this
what we don't
environment.
want. We're
Right.
firm in what we don't want. Now we want to make those changes. Sophia?
Okay.
One thing that spirit kind of prompted me to interject here is not only are we navigating the energy of our families and what has happened before, but also the places where we're living. So while we have this genetic thing that we're bringing with us, then you take that, and what I would, I guess, determine would be like dominion energy, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
feel that the ground has a memory. So
Yes.
being mindful also, of not only what you're bringing in, sometimes it's not you. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you need to be like, does this belong to me? And being very brutally honest with yourself, and perhaps bringing in a trusted, sensitive friend that understands these concepts and not wrestling with it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Get to the bottom of it, because not only are you going to learn and grow like I did when I navigated that, you never know down the road who you'll be able to help that may be in a similar, not identical, but similar situation. It's nothing like talking to somebody that's been there, dude. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
it's one thing to understand it, it's another thing to walk in those shoes.
Mm-hmm. You can also reincarnate or incarnate into I will, Nick, into an area where you've lived before, where you've had lifetimes, and that trauma does get held in the earth. It does. Mother Earth holds that energy.
Good
But
and
I,
bad.
yeah, good and bad. But I think it's for your benefit in the future. And so
Figure it
if you
out.
reincarnate into
Yeah.
that area, yeah. Nick, you wanted to continue?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's all right. It's all good. Go ahead,
So
Nick.
so I understand that everyone navigates things differently. So say that you can't have the mindset of how I do it, maybe
Mm-hmm.
a different way. So another way to do it is to look at this. There's a quote that I like a lot. I don't know who quotes it, but it goes, if they throw rocks at you, build a castle out of it. And surprising enough, this quote actually goes into one of the Hermetic principles. There's like three that stack on each other, but the main one that I think of when this gets brought up is the Hermetic principle of rhythm. So everything swings from left and right. The measurement of the swing to the left is the same measurement to the right, right? So if you're in a tempo of where you're getting cursed, right? Flip the tempo. What do you do when you flip it upside down? Instead of you turn it into its opposite, hermetic principle of polarity. So instead of it going into the rhythm of it being a curse, you can start going into the rhythm of it becoming a boon.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
This is the
Mm-hmm.
main fundamental of any magic. It is imagination.
Yeah.
And how do you feel when you start breaking those chains? What are you getting out of it? How do you feel about yourself?
Oh, I feel like the only thing that's limiting me is myself.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, once you've actually made the changes, now you're starting to see the
Oh, you mean,
results.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You start feeling liberated.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like you're
Yeah.
ascending.
Moksha.
Yeah, it feels
Moksha.
illuminating. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything you wanted to add to it, Jess?
Oh yeah, I have my own opinions.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We know that about you, Jazz. That's what we love about you.
Okay, so I kind of want to bring it back to what you were saying on your slides in the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like curse, right, kind of means something different to everybody, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So curse to me is kind of like how you kind of said in the beginning. It's a pattern, right, for me, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
pattern that's been ingrained through our culture, and it's a pattern that's been ingrained through our families, and it's a pattern that's just repeating patterns, you know what I mean? And
Yep.
that's what our body and brains use
Yep.
to cope with life. They go on autopilot, and it's like, oh well, what do you don't question why you do it, you just do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the challenge here, is you have to question everything, you know what I mean? And the way you know if you're on the right path is things will be so easy and you won't realize how easy it is. The way I remember it is there's people out there making stupid money. There's people out there making money by videotaping snails racing. He's making millions of dollars.
It's actually
Okay.
true.
So
Or ASMR. There's a good one for you.
there's that weird stuff. You know what I mean? So
You're getting very sleepy right
like, exactly. So don't beat yourself up. You know what I mean? If it's kicking your ass and it's giving you that much of a headache and it's making you heavy and exhausted and you feel negative and all you're doing is getting angry and you're just creating like a toxic little pool and you're unhappy, the kids are unhappy, the animals are unhappy, the plants are unhappy, everything's dying, nothing's
Life
working, blah blah
sucks.
blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? You're probably not doing what you were meant to do. And your own
That's a
body's
good point.
kicking your ass because
Mm.
it's like, hey, I don't want to do this. Stop forcing me to do this. You
Right.
already know we like dancing, we like painting, we like this. Why do you have me in a box? Why do you have me in a cubicle? You know? So all of these things that are going wrong, or all these things that are going in a curse, there's signs to me. That's your sign that you're not aligned to what you're supposed to do. Because when you are really aligned, everything flows. And if you're
Yep.
not in flow, that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that there's not going to be struggles. There's going to be challenges, right? But those
Right.
challenges won't feel overwhelming. It will feel like you have a way over something, around something, or even like, through something to get your point across.
Somebody
So
wants some camera time.
I know,
Hey,
huh,
Jet.
Jet?
I think you see me
No,
late.
but you've got a very good point, Jazz. You have an excellent point because if you're feeling the resistance, that means something's not right. And that's your soul's way of saying you need to make some adjustments here because if you're feeling that resistance, you're not doing something that's benefiting you.
Exactly. And sometimes you'll have like I was talking to Chloe, there's resistance to success because a lot of us don't know what success feels like because let's face it, none of us came from a perfect household. None of us know what's a perfect healthy way to deal with anger. You know what I mean? Like I've gone through this spiel so many times of our school system doesn't do us justice because we go through such complex emotions so early on and no one tells us how to deal with it. No one tells us how to, if your best friend picks another friend over you and you're just like, what did I do wrong? And it's like, no, you didn't do anything. No one does that. And you don't
Mm.
have anywhere to learn it until you're past the age. And now you got to pay somebody to teach you how to deal with it. And then now you got to undo all those patterns and undo all
Mm-hmm.
that.
The programming is when you're a kid and you're growing up. That's the program that you've been instilled with. And it takes the second half of your life to undo all that and to change it.
Yeah.
Mary Mansfield says, between ancestral trauma, past life issues, location energy, and soul contracts we come into this life with, there's a whole lot to balance and work through. Just do the best you can. I love that, Mary. That's very, very true.
Well said.
To keep it simple, yes,
Mm-hmm.
start with yourself because at the end of the day, the only person you can control is yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If your self-worth is coming from other people, then it's not self-worth. That's validation. But self-worth comes from the self. If you had none of that, then what does that look like? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It
These
looks like you feel cursed.
right. It would feel like life is happening to you instead of
No.
life happening for you.
For you, yes.
So
Yes.
and it's hard. It's hard because like if you do feel like that and like the world is falling on you and you feel like that dog that's sitting in the firehouse, like everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe go seek like professional help because when there is a chemical imbalance in your brain, it's really hard to see a way out. Or, all your problems feel like they're this huge when really it's like this. But
Mm-hmm.
your brain isn't capable of looking at it at a different direction because
Mm-hmm.
it's not
And the objective view, that's why that objectivity is so important, so
Yeah.
that you're not falling under one or the other. You're seeing it from a neutral. So you look at the pattern from a neutral space. But that's not easy to get to. That takes a lot of work, a lot of commitment, a lot of self love, a lot of all of that before you can get to that point where you're like, no.
Right. So it goes
Yeah.
back to what Sophia was saying, like, is this
Mm-hmm.
mine? Does this belong to me? Right. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people like to identify with curses as almost as being chosen or as being picked. So there's like a dark
Yeah.
chosen one, or like a dark what is it called, when you're like special, like a dark specialness attached to it, because they're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I was cursed. That means that someone gave my family enough attention, enough energy, enough something where it was worthy enough for them to do this to us, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like a reverse attachment. And that's the thing that gets people, is because they get stuck on, oh, it's a curse. It has so much power. They must have been such a skilled practitioner. They must have done so many you know what I mean? Like, they're romanticizing what a
Mm-hmm.
curse
Or a
really
little
Yes.
voodoo work, a little bit of
Yes.
voodoo.
You know what that
Mm-hmm.
sounds like to me? Like they're romanticizing a victim mentality, and they're
Yeah.
owning the persona rather than trying to make it go away
Mm-hmm.
like they're supposed to.
Yeah.
right. But they get caught up in it, like they get caught up in a story. Like, I'm not gonna say I wasn't like that. I was like that until like I was like 12 or 13ish, because all I knew was my family. You know what I mean? All I knew was what they were doing, all of those toxic traits that they were portraying, everything. That's all I knew. You know what I mean? Until I started going out more and seeing that there was so much more world out there than just the little house that I thought was it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's also about broadening your horizons and being more open-minded.
Yeah.
And to me it's like, okay, so I always sit there and I ask why. I don't know what professor taught me this. I'm pretty sure it was someone in my child development classes. We
Mm-hmm.
always want to ask why.
Mm-hmm. I
Why
think
am
that's your innate nature there. I
Yeah.
think that's the soul aspect of you that asks why. You're just, that's instilled in you.
Yeah. I'm just that little 2-year-old like,
Part
why?
of your
Why?
personality. Yep. Yep.
But it really gets me out of a lot of trouble, because then it helps me do what Sophia said about, like, does this belong to me? Is this
Mm-hmm.
me? Do
Mm-hmm.
I really think this? Or is this coming from somewhere else? What is the intention? What is the emotional drive? Because in psychology, they teach us that everything is an emotional need. Okay. Either the emotional need to be loved, the emotional need to belong, the emotional need for community, the emotional need to be important, the emotional need for power, the emotional need for control. There's a lot of emotional needs. And the thing is that in the world of emotion, wants and needs are the same thing. Wants and needs are just as important to your emotional body. Because, like, say
Hmm.
for example, once you have a need, food, right? Your need is met.
Mm-hmm.
It's oatmeal. You get oatmeal or pizza. What do you want? Now you're going into wants.
Right.
But if you constantly get oatmeal while you want pizza, now it's
Mm-hmm.
negative to you, even though your needs are being fulfilled. So those are our emotions making illogical choices, because
Mm-hmm.
logically, it shouldn't care what you get, right? Logically, a house is a house, a car is a car, food is food. Why do you have so much care for one or another? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's wants. So if you ask yourself, why do I want this? What is this? Blah blah blah, right? And if you actually can find that nugget of that emotional need of, oh, okay, I got mad because I felt rejected. I felt like I didn't belong. And that reminded me of when my family did this and this. And then you start seeing, like, I wonder, is that why my mom did that? Because she felt rejected because of that? And then you'll start seeing that pattern of
Mm-hmm.
curse.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how you can break those curses, or going against the pattern and
Mm-hmm.
creating new patterns and being like, okay, well, I saw how that line of thinking left my mom. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, do I really want that for me and
Mm-hmm.
my offspring? Or do I really want that for me and my family? No, I don't really want that. I really don't see the value in, I was hurt, so I hurt you. Hurt people hurt things, right?
Yep.
Misery loves
Hurt
company.
people hurt people. Mm-hmm.
So, no, I don't want that. I want, you know, I want people to want to be around me because they like me, because they're happy for me, and my happiness is their happiness, our success is their success. You know what I mean? It's a win-win situation. I want to be around people who, if I win, they win. If they win, I win. Like, I'm happy
What's
for them.
best for all involved?
Yes.
That's another thing people don't do, or don't know how to do.
Yeah,
Well, it's because
You know.
once when you feel like there's a scarcity, like if you don't
Yep.
have enough food or money, if you feel like there's a scarcity of
Yeah.
opportunity or a scarcity of winning
There's
than
not enough for you.
competition.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm. I hadn't thought
Mm-hmm.
about it that way.
yeah, that's why, like, if someone asks you for a tip, right, and you're just like, oh, I don't have that, it's the reason why you feel more like pulling back is because of the scarcity. But if you were in abundance of it, it's like, here, have 20, have 40, I don't really care, I have so much in the, you know what I mean, like, it doesn't matter. Scarcity is what brings about competition, and scarcity is what brings about more toxicity. That's a whole other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyways, my whole thing about
That's well said.
breaking the curse,
Very
right,
well said. Mm-hmm.
is that I would try to challenge yourself, right? It's so natural for us to plan for the worst, right? Because we get taught that, like, oh, hope for the best but plan for the worst, because
Mm.
that's the best of both worlds. Like, at least you're prepared for a downfall, but you're hoping for the best. Nah, I say go full in. What if it
Mm-hmm.
does work? what
Yeah.
if what if you were right? What if you are that amazing? What if you're as brazen as this guy or Scotty? Like,
Right.
tells you you can't be like that?
Yeah.
What if you can just exist and howl at the moon because you felt like it, and it doesn't bother you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I personally would love 50 me's in the same room, and it's not because I'm a narcissist, but it would be the fact that they get it. They just get it. They know what they're doing essentially.
Multiplicity.
Yeah.
You're right, Nick. You're absolutely right.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I,
Uh,
right. But it's like having that inner confidence, having that inner safety, because it's being safe with yourself. The
Mm-hmm.
way you get to that kind of level is because you've already seen the darkest side of yourself. You already
Yep.
know where that comes from, and you know how to deal with it, and you
Yep.
know who you are.
Right.
And that comes with a lot of self reflection. So
Mm-hmm.
if you feel like the world is coming down on you, I would check your surroundings. Are you somewhere safe? And are you someone safe for yourself? Or do you constantly judge yourself? Do you constantly, like, pick on yourself? You have to be your own best friend
Yeah.
Hmm.
before you can save your family from the curse. You have to be your own
You
best friend.
Jazz,
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. It's people who are, what do we say to folks? Everything is happening all at once around them. Trees are falling, banks are shutting down their account. In other words, they've been so wrapped up in everything has been happening around them, they can't help but feel they're in a rut. They can't help but feel like, where's the light at the end of the tunnel? Because as soon as I take 2 steps forward, I'm handed 5 steps backwards. As soon as I accomplish one thing, something else blows up. Now, for me, it's been a learning process of not everything is what you think it is,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore it had to happen in order for something else to occur.
Oh yes.
And then something positive happened. So now how do you spin that into, well, that happened. So for me it's like I'm my own cheerleader. When something
Mm-hmm.
finally does happen that's really positive, I embrace it and go, okay, then that means everything else is positive too. This
Yes.
changed, this healed, so these things will heal too, and I don't have to get into the emotion of it. I
Right.
can await and expect a better outcome. I might not be able to change what's happened over here, but I can change how I react to what's happening over here,
Well, and
right?
Yes.
also
It's
being
your
mindful, being
perspective.
very mindful about your thoughts as well. What are you putting out there? Are you putting
Right.
out fearful thoughts? Are you putting out, oh, this could happen? This could happen to me?
Mm-hmm.
And, by doing
Yeah.
that, thoughts are things. You're putting that out there. So the universe is going, oh, you need some
That's
more
what
of that? Okay,
you
you
want.
got it. Yeah, here.
So, like, I have a perfect example for this. Okay, Nick
Okay.
and
Okay.
I were on our way to go do like a cleansing, like a house cleanse, and on the way there, like, I usually try to meditate on the car ride there and try to, like, if there's anything from the day, kind of like put that away and blah blah blah, whatever, centering myself and stuff like that. something was on the freeway and it got kicked up by the car in front of me, and it was flying straight to me, and I closed my eyes and ducked down because usually there's like rocks, like the rock trucks, and they'll bounce
Mm-hmm.
off of the windshield. No,
Yeah.
this
I
thing
think
went,
we've all experienced that. Yep.
oh my god, and the whole thing just went like it just cracked even further, and I'm like, holy crap. And at first I was just like, this is some BS. This is so I'm doing a nice thing here and I just got something shitty. Like, how does that work? You know what I mean? But I just thought that for a split second, and then I
You
stopped.
caught yourself.
I
You
slowed
caught
down.
yourself. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to say anything wrong. So I was just
Mm.
like, you know what I mean? Because
Took a moment,
exactly,
focused, centered.
yes, because my, again, ADHD, so my thoughts are flying, right? I'm like, I
Yep.
can't blame Nick. We were on the freeway. He couldn't swerve. He would have hit another car. So it's not Nick's fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the car in front of me because it's that. You know what I mean? It's
Just a
not.
road
So
hazard.
exactly. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, it just happened, right? It's
Yep.
fine. It's fine, right? And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, wait, this happened at the exact, okay, so maybe what happened was that they were trying to discourage me, because if they knock me off my game, right? If they try to bench me by messing with my emotions and putting me in a bad headspace and making my vibration any lower, guess what? When I go walk into a dangerous situation with like those other spirits, I'm going to be screwed.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm,
no, I'm not
mm-hmm.
gonna let that happen. So then I'm like, all right, guys, so what really happened here, right? And then they're like, well, don't you think that getting your window smashed and spending like $400 or $500 is better than getting in a car crash and totaling your car? And I'm like, yeah, I'd rather pay the $500 than having to buy a new car. So
Yeah.
that's
That's
Yeah.
the kind of thing that keeps happening, you guys, and it's not. At first, I thought synchronicity, right? But
mm,
that's the kind of thing that keeps happening. Something will happen like that, and it'll be something like, oh God, I can't afford that right now. Geez, but I'll write, and then I find out 2 days later, Spirit guided me to that. I was in that situation. I experienced it. I responded favorably to it. But I found out this is what would have happened had I not done that. And Spirit just saved me $3,000.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yep.
you don't know.
Sometimes crappy things happen for a freaking reason, people.
And it's a
Yep.
good
And we
reason.
just don't always
Mm.
see it. Go ahead.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
So
that's
true.
a perfect that's perfect, because it's like, it's, I was like, okay, so what if, we just avoided a major car crash because of it? But we don't know what that
Yeah.
alternate route or that alternate
Mm-hmm. Or
route.
who you're going to meet, or what circumstances
Exactly.
you're going to
Oh,
fall into because of that situation.
exactly. Or what if that windshield was already compromised before, and
Mm-hmm.
it saved me from something else actually going through the
Yeah.
windshield and causing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just the same way as you can create bad scenarios, you can spin it as many ways as you want for it to feel right to
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The same
Yes.
is right on at the other swing of the pendulum, or the other
Well
sentence
said.
of the
Well said, Jasmine.
You know
Well said.
what? Going back to that analogy of a chess game that we had not so long ago when we talked
Mm-hmm.
about,
Yep.
sometimes you sacrifice a rook or a pawn to gain a queen.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yep.
sometimes you sacrifice the queen to save the entire troop of
Yeah.
pawns so that
Yep.
you can stay in the game. So I think that's how we are navigating through our reality. Our soul, at a soul level,
Mm-hmm.
we understand it.
Right.
Now, those of us who have become aware can actually really turn that soul level on,
Mm-hmm.
more vibrantly,
Mm-hmm.
more energetically,
And the more you do
enthusiastically.
it, the more you practice it, the easier it becomes, and the more positive you get out of it.
Yeah,
So,
it's like
yeah.
the more you become aware, and the more you sit with yourself. I feel like what you said earlier too about self-care and self-love really holds a lot of truth, because the more you love yourself, the more patience you have, the more you become your best friend and you become
Yeah.
a safe space for yourself and your own emotions,
Yeah.
you'll be able to identify those dark emotions without feeling any shame, guilt, or regret, or everything else that it's tied to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jet,
Mm-hmm.
can you move?
Jet's loving what you're putting down there. Jet's your biggest fan.
Are you, Jet?
Yeah, Jasmine, really well said.
Thank you.
I'm just very proud and pleased to hear what you had to say. It was just
Thank
wonderful.
you, Jess.
Yes, so spot on. Sorry, Grandpa Brian, how about you? What would you like to add?
Well, so I am Kerr's ancestral programming. So if you putting it in that context, curse and ancestral programming, curse could mean karmic cycles of a
Mm-hmm.
bloodline,
Mm-hmm.
karmic debt in a bloodline,
Yeah.
ancestral programming, in the other sense, like Catholicism, learn behavior, go to church. There's others, I'm not going to mention groups' names, but they teach their children how to hate a certain race. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a couple different types of ancestral programming. The karmic one, that's a one that you would really need to find out, because then that allows you to break that karmic cycle or karmic debt.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then that also helps heal yourself when you are doing that. Like you take a bloodline that there's always violence, say, towards women in that bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
Once you realize that karmic cycle, you can break that karmic cycle by
Mm-hmm.
not participating in that. Uh, there's many things that could happen. I'm not saying karma is the same thing as curse. I'm just, in this context, I'm just associating. If you think you're cursed, look at that bloodline, because there's something in that bloodline, that there's a karmic cycle, karmic debt that needs to be paid. Like if someone puts a curse on you, they actually think you owe them a debt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
you can look at it that way. Is there a debt that kind of needs to be repaid in this lifetime for this bloodline? And that's
Mm-hmm.
probably
Mm-hmm.
doing the shadow work of a bloodline, not only for
Mm-hmm.
yourself, but you also have to
Yeah.
do a shadow work for bloodline to figure out what you need to do to help it, not only fix the bloodline, but it helps fix yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. What's interesting too is when you have reincarnation, especially if you're reincarnating into a certain bloodline, the blood carries that trauma as well. So it's not just the programming from the your ancestors, but it can be in the blood as well. And I think the sole purpose is to really transmute that energy. Ultimately, that's why we go through that. And
Mm-hmm.
to, take those lessons learned and to evolve the
Yeah.
soul.
Right. It's not only to heal, but like you said, transmute it. And what does
Mm-hmm.
Source want us to transmute that into? Love.
Mm-hmm.
Because Source is all
Mm-hmm.
about love. So if you can transmute any negative emotions or negative thought, transmute that into love, then everything after that's going to be positive.
And
Yeah.
Brian, you can tell when you're interacting with someone. There's someone I'm very, very, very close to, and I can tell that the cycle isn't being broken. And no matter how many examples, or no matter how many times you can see someone close to you break something and then not learn from it. I see this person not learning, and there'll be moments of recognition at a soul level. They'll have a moment and they'll say something positive in that moment, but they can't hold the energy. And so within a matter of minutes, they're right back into the negativity. They're right back into doom and gloom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no matter, and you have to go, okay, this is not my energy, this is theirs. I don't need to make it mine. But when it's directed at you
Mm-hmm.
and it's coming at you like a missile, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you just have to have a good strong armor. And your armor is your own inner core being and knowing of your divinity and your true self. That's your armor. And so when things start getting fired at you, just it's going to ricochet. It's going to bounce off of me like a bullet. It's going to go boing and come
Yeah.
right back at you, buddy.
Yeah.
So no matter how much you try to get me to suck me in, but there are moments, there are, where I have been momentarily sucked in for just a second and given it right back. But
Hmm.
I'll,
Or
I'll very
not.
quickly,
Or
or not,
not.
yeah, or
Hmm.
walk away. Sometimes
Hmm.
I just go,
Yep.
I'm going for a ride, I'm
Yeah.
leaving, I'm
Hmm.
walking away.
Yeah.
So you can tell though, Brian, you're absolutely right. There are these generational, they're both linked to past lives because I can recognize this person from various different past lives, and the emotions and the behaviors aren't much different from life to life. That's why I can recognize them so clearly here. There's not a significant difference.
Scotty
And so
Boy
you
made
can
a
see people reliving that cycle over and over and over.
right. I wanted to address this,
Yeah, and that's
Scotty
something
Boy.
that they have to do. Hmm.
Yeah, let me just address this real quick, and I'll give you some more
Go
time
ahead,
there,
Teresa. Yep.
for sure. Scotty Boy, so we're talking about the bloodlines. Are bloodlines blood types or a stronger pull? Yes, believe it or not, they are a stronger pull. And certain blood types, and it's scientifically proven, carry different types of diseases and all types of things that can happen in your own body just from that bloodline. So, yes, the answer is yes. Looks like we lost Brian. He must be having a
He'll
connection issue.
he'll come back.
Yeah.
You want
Now,
to hear a conspiracy
if what
theory about
Scotty meant,
bloodlines?
Go ahead, Teresa.
if what Scotty Boy was referring to is bloodlines, meaning family
Yeah.
bloodlines,
Yeah.
heritage,
Mm-hmm.
whether so it's in the DNA. Blood types are type A, type B, type
Mm-hmm.
O. My
Mm-hmm.
family has all the blood types in it.
Yeah.
So our lineage is different than our type.
Yes.
So there's a blood type and then there's
They're all
a
factors.
lineage.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
all factors. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Where are you? There
There's
you are.
Brian.
Okay. Can you
Go
hear
ahead,
us,
Brian. You
Brian?
got cut off.
I don't know what happened.
Yep. You just went cold.
You popped out.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about bloodline at all? Did you catch enough?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now I can see everybody.
There you go. Lori was asking you if you wanted to pick up where we left off before you started having trouble about the bloodlines. Did you want to say anything about the blood types and the bloodlines?
So you were talking about he had or they have moments where they kind of realize what they're doing and then they fall back into it. And you said that this has
Immediately.
happened in previous life. This is something that yeah, uh, it's probably not only a karmic cycle in the bloodline, but it sounds like a karmic cycle with whoever that is that they're having to try to work through lifetime, and that's why they keep repeating it lifetime after lifetime because that's something that they're trying to work through and just can't seem to work
Yeah.
through it in that lifetime because you come to that veil of forgetfulness, so you're not remembering that I have to work through this in this lifetime to clear this karma.
That's very true.
What do
Also,
you. Oh, sorry.
Also, you have to remember too. Remember, we talked about soul families, soul groups coming in as a
Mm hmm.
group.
Mm hmm.
That's also really important for the
Mm-hmm.
soul group that wants to learn about certain things in life. Maybe they want to learn about a disability. Maybe they want to have a disease or whatever. It they want to experience it because it, it it's just pure expansion. And for some people, that's difficult because that means you'd have to take responsibility for your
Right.
actions. But that is why it comes pops
Mm-hmm.
back up in the blood.
Well, what do you think about the idea of, because some people have this, not me, what do you think of the idea of being doomed to the extent that you believe, or you're at a soul level, your soul must be so corrupted by this time that it believes that it can't ever change or break the cycle, and so it keeps repeating the reincarnation loop over and over and over because the soul has unattached or detached or tried to separate itself from our real true purpose. So it's been so tainted that it just can't seem to learn the frickin' lesson. And
Um,
so it's in a state of limbo. What do you think
yeah.
about that notion or that idea?
Well, Mary Maxwell just put that very succinctly. We inherit more than just trauma from our ancestors. We also get the benefits of any healing of trauma they were able to do, just as our descendants benefit from our efforts to break these patterns. Well said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to point out a good.
And that could be very true because you recognize this karmic cycle with them. So you're putting your intent out there that you're wanting to break this. So maybe that'll help them in their next lifetime to be able to help
Yeah.
break that cycle because you're recognizing it in this lifetime and working through and trying to break that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jazz, you were going to make a comment?
Yeah, I have actually experienced clearing up some of those traumas with like my own nephews because um, my sister was working a lot, so I would stay home. Well, I was the babysitter, even though I was the older one. So anyway, so I had my three little nephews. They called me mom before they called my sister mom because I was just with them so much. But I started treating them differently than how I was treated or how I was raised, right? Because I wanted someone to look at me like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
or give me grace like that. So, that's actually how we found out that my nephew had ADHD. And that's how we found out that the family had ADHD was because I sat there and we had a crazy list of chores like who cleans walls and like you know what I mean, like as a kid on a second story like that it was just a big ask. So we're all working crazy and I see him watching TV and I'm like, did you finish your list? And he's like, my list? And I'm like, yeah, like the list I gave you to clean like 3 hours ago? Like, what do you mean? Yeah. And he's like, oh, I forgot about that. And I'm like, you forgot about it and you're watching TV while the rest of us are like super cleaning? And then like, but I could feel like how my thoughts were like, oh, he meant to do this. He's just being lazy. He wanted like, right? And I was like, no, 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 no. Hold on. Pause, pause.
Mm-hmm.
This poor little kid doesn't even like he has like a squeegee in his hand, like paper towels in his hand, but no Windex, right? And he was supposed to clean the table. And I'm like, where's the Windex? He's like, oh, that's what I was doing. And I'm like, what do you mean? Wait, hold on. Explain to me what's going on. And he's like, okay, so the third item on my list was to clean the table, right? And then we had a glass table. He said, okay, so I grabbed the paper towels, but then I had to go grab the Windex. But then I remembered that Xavier used the Windex upstairs, so then I had to go upstairs. But then I saw that there was clothes on the ground, so then I grabbed the clothes and I did this. So he's explaining to me this entire trip that he had with trying to find the Windex. And I'm just like, that took you 3 hours and you still haven't cleaned the table? And he's like, well, I got stuck. And then I saw the TV on and I got stuck here. And I'm just like, okay,
Lack
well,
of focus. But
now do you remember where the Windex is? He's like, I think it's over here. Let me go check. And I'm like, okay, now can we get back to the list? He's like, oh yeah. Because he didn't do it intentionally. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Where the
Yeah.
rest of my family would have assumed it was
Right.
Mm-hmm.
intentional, that we were trying to make them look bad, or we're trying to like pull a fast one on them, or we're trying to abuse them, or blah
You
blah blah.
understood it on a different level.
I just stopped and asked why,
Mm-hmm.
like because I know I've worked with this little kid for such a long time. I'm just like, I don't think he has that malicious in him. So I just sat there and I said, okay, hold on, what happened? And then that's when he told me the entire story, and I'm just like, I don't think that's normal, right? Because it
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
happens to me, but it doesn't happen to me to that degree, right?
Right.
So yeah, so then he went to go get tested, and then the rest of us got tested, and then
Hmm.
that's how we found out that, yeah, all the self medicating that my family would do was
Hmm.
because of that.
Wow.
So I like it because they grew up to be more emotionally mature and more emotionally intelligent than the rest of my family. Like they'll
Yeah.
catch my sister and they'll be like, "Hey, like I get that you're mad, but the level of mad you're at doesn't match what's happening." And
Hmm.
they learned how to emotionally regulate my sister, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Because of how I would approach them, that's how they started approaching everything
Hmm.
else. So these
So they learn from you, and that's interesting too because parents learn from their children as well.
yes, because like you
Hmm.
said, we all come here choosing our
Hmm.
different lives, right? Or a different route, or like how Brian was saying that
Hmm.
it's in our blood and it might be karmic. It might,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? These
Yeah.
these are all, how can I say it, different lessons, right?
Uh-huh.
That word kind of doesn't hold its meaning anymore. I feel like that's kind of like something that people tune out, like, oh, it's just a
Hmm.
lesson, it's blah blah blah. Like
Right.
it's more
Hmm.
about finding an understanding.
Understanding. Hmm. Yep. I
Yeah.
Once
totally
you
agree.
understand it and
In
understanding,
finding that understanding, you can then selectively
yes,
pick and choose the prioritized
you can make a choice.
actions. You can make a more informed choice, and it's, I can tell you right now, you can't tackle everything all at one time. That's chaos.
Yeah.
But if you chip away at little things here and there, I call them milestones,
Hmm.
It
and you
reminds,
focus your now on that one thing, then as you start chipping away at it from a more positive perspective, you're taking action to make change. When you take action to make change, other things will fall into place. And they
Hmm.
might not seem as overwhelming. Is that right, Lori?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Great point.
it reminds me of the devil card in the tarot, right? And if it's
Mm-hmm.
the
Hmm.
original Rider Waite deck, um, Jim likes to point out of how the chains on the people are loose,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So he says that the devil card, when you get it, it just say fear be gone. But to always remember that the chains are loose. You're not as chained up as you think you are.
Hmm.
Right.
That's just a trick that,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it, is playing on you.
I can choose to pick the lock. I'm really good at picking the lock, so I can take those chains off
Skyrim reference?
quite easily. Yes. Listen, Sophia's got some cards, and she's
Yes.
going to pull a card for the group.
Dude, I was looking for the devil card because I love what Jazz is throwing down.
Mm-hmm.
It's so true because the devil card speaks, at least to me, if I may,
Mm-hmm.
it speaks to me that there's some issue that because there's other ones where the devil card's doing like this,
Mm-hmm.
where it's pointing to the self. But what Jazz was talking about was are these nooses, so they're big enough to where they can take their
Yep.
own, wow, my hair, limitations off, but they have to get to a place to recognize it and see it for themselves so they can take action on it.
Mm-hmm.
So this card, at least what I've seen it do, is call me out when there's a pattern of self-sabotage and poor behavior, when I could make a better choice,
Mm.
you know. So,
Yep.
all right. So let me fix my hair real quick. All right, that's
Do
better.
the do.
Telling
You
you,
just love it
man.
when she does a close up. You just want to shoot her.
So you're pulling a card for the group and everyone
Yeah.
watching. And everyone watching. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we've had. Okay. All right, Spirit. So there are four that came out,
Okay.
and the first one that came out is the Death card. Death card is about a new beginning, transformation. It also speaks to equality. It doesn't matter if
Mm.
if you're a child or if you're royalty or if you're into religion. It doesn't matter. We're transformation is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Change is going to happen, and it starts with the mind.
Mm-hmm. Death of the
Mhm.
old, bringing something new in.
Right.
Yeah.
If this
Yep.
card would indicate perhaps it's time to focus
Yeah.
Feng
on.
shui your mind.
Yeah.
There you go. The second one to come out is the Ace of Cups. This aces are all about new beginnings,
Mm-hmm.
and cups is about emotions and intuition. So perhaps this will be a good card to beginning meditation and
Fill your
self
cup.
development.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's a keyword for that card. And then the Three of Wands, addressing, what needs to be worked on, but taking action, being part of the change instead of letting life
Mm-hmm.
just drag you along, having a hand in the manifestations that unfold before you.
Yeah.
Boom.
Good point.
Boom.
And then finally, the Seven of Cups. For me, the Seven of Cups speaks to if there's a lot of options. You don't always know the exact way you need to go because we have free will. Pretty much we can, make our own way through our lessons. But knowing, I would say, hmm, what do you got here, Spirit? It's just knowing that your emotions and your intuition are involved in awkward moments and to come from the heart, which you have the mind and then you have the gut and then you have the wisdom. So I would say being aware of your decisions and coming from a place of wisdom is what I
Mm-hmm.
would say.
Nice.
Heart-centered approach.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And you've got one more? Was there four
Or
cards? Oh, that was four. Okay. Gotcha.
Sophia, they always talk about the higher mind. And and Lori and I were talking about some things the other day, and she had a dream, a vision. To me, and we were hearing somebody else talk about the white light, the portal being the angel of death. The angel of death is really the gateway to the etheric realm once the veil has been lifted, is a good way to look at it. But I'm also starting to understand higher mind. We use the word mind. It's really the portal of your own root, heart centered space. So the higher mind is the heart center. It's your soul mind. That's what the soul mind is, right?
I can get down with that. And yes, Steve, thank you for the comments. It's been a long day. Seven of Cups is about choices. Um, what and I don't know if this is the right place for it, but it kind of goes all the way back to the beginning when we're talking about ancestral, and the primal layers and the foundations and whatnot. It's also something that I've studied in, I guess, Nordic spiritual anatomy, for lack of a better word, is something called hemingia. There's actually like 5 different ways to pronounce it correctly, but it talks about your luck. Like what we were talking about earlier, where man, that person always blah blah blah. One, they could be in the flow, like Jazz was talking about. Two, they could be on what some people I've heard call a vacation lifetime. I wouldn't know because if I've had one, I don't remember it. Um,
Respite. Yeah.
Right, right. But what it's also talking about, this gear or this luck, is it's actually passed through the family generations, and I also feel it's a lightweight stewardship. So if you do have a lot of good luck that goes through your
Right,
family,
right. But what it's also talking about,
so I'm getting
this
feedback.
gear or this
Yeah.
love.
Thank you. Um, but then knowing kind of like we have a hand and what unfolds for us. And we do that by controlling the mind. So I don't know. I just felt it was important to say that because I still have my closing thoughts too.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yep.
prepared for this show. I get points.
Yes. Yes. Brownie points all the way. And five gold stars will give you two. Boom, 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 boom. And speaking of final thoughts,
Well, I
we are
want to say
going.
something about Sophia's reading real quick before we move on.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's
So
okay.
the thing that I want to point out too is that the Death card is part of the major arcana. So the major arcana means that it's a major chapter or a major turning point for the collective. So basically saying that this is resonating with a lot of people because this is something that we deal with on the daily. The major arcana basically means that these are milestones and big chapters. The minor arcana, that's like, am I going to eat a papaya or am I going to eat a grapefruit? It's the tiny little details that matter but don't really end up changing the whole story a lot. So the fact that she drew a major arcana card, that means that it's a major plot point to our lives right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Very good. Wow, Jasmine, you are on it, all over it tonight. I'm loving it. Both you and Sophie. Actually, everyone is. Awesome. Well, we'll start with you, Sophia. You want to give some final thoughts tonight? Go ahead.
Yes, I do.
All righty then.
So as the course of the show goes, when I'm not playing solitaire with my tarot deck, Spirit kind of throws some quips and I'm ready. One of them that was given is to challenge the negative thought patterns.
Yeah.
Allow, at least this is what I did. This is how I gained process. When I was experiencing my energy that I really, I was like, it's like listening to the same song over and over on the radio. It's like, oh, not this crap. Doop. Again, you can do that with your thought
Earworm.
patterns. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And develop a healthy inner dialogue, because I spent a lot of time alone, so I had to learn to be my own cheerleader. And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't because it was fun for me, it was because I didn't have any other choice.
Yeah.
So I feel Spirit, since I have listened, will continue and have the privilege to interact with Spirit on that level. They're like, all right, this kid needs some help because it started young.
It
So
was
challenge
instrumental. I'm sorry. It was instrumental for your development
your.
as a psychic, Sophia. So that was purposely put in your path so that you would gain those skills, in my
Right.
opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
And then one thing, Hail Terry Ryan, this
Yeah.
rolled through. What you think about, you bring about. It
Mm-hmm.
is that simple.
Yes.
We're the ones that want to complicate it. We're the ones that want, until we have our epiphany of our place and our power,
Yeah.
you get caught up in what has always been around you, but you do have a choice. And that's why I love this platform, is because if you do put, you shall not pass, you know, you're
Yeah.
you have people that understand and people that really care, and a world full of not.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that part. And then last but not least is the power of your mind. It doesn't matter, honestly, what your opinion is of yourself. Your mind still has power, whether you believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
You have influence, whether you're ready to receive it and wield it in a healthy fashion or not. You are
Yeah.
influencing and you are vibrating on a physical plane. Do something cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go within, find what makes you laugh that's legal, you know, and have a good time. We weren't meant to suffer through this entire lifetime. Stop it.
Yeah. Yep.
That is
Just
all.
stop it.
Just stop
It's
it.
that
Pick up
simple.
the
You know,
phone. Write it
they say
down.
they say your subconscious, Sophia, your subconscious, where we really live. You think of it, um, actually responds to everything your conscious mind is saying, doing, and thinking. And so, if you say something as simple as, "Oh my gosh, I'm never going to reach that objective because this keeps happening," you're talking yourself into wanting something. You're giving yourself permission to want to fail.
You're
What
getting
the
in your own way.
subconscious, right, you're getting in your own way, and what the subconscious mind hears is, oh, she wants that.
Right. The universe only knows yes. Damn it, give it something to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Right, give it
Sorry about the
something
D
good to
word, but
say yes
No, it's all
to.
good. It's all good. Yep.
Yeah,
Which is why that your thoughts hold so much power, because the universe does not hear don't. Okay? So
right.
it only hears what you're saying as a matter of fact. Think of it as like a very literal autistic child, okay?
Or
Mm-hmm.
child. Yes, in child development, the child only hears.
Yeah.
You're never supposed to say to a child who's 3 or 4 years old, don't smack your brother. The child hears smack brother.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Selective hearing.
So you have to say, be nice, right?
Yeah.
Or show me how good it can get.
There
You
you
know,
Yeah.
go.
things.
Ooh, I like
Yes.
that. Yes.
So just pay
Yep.
attention to the words that you use. Always make what
Hmm.
you want the primary focus, not what you don't want.
Right.
Well,
Love that.
visualize and see what you want.
Oh yeah, that's great too.
uh,
And
uh,
feel it. Because
yeah,
what
I gotta share this. I'm sorry, Mary. Mary Mansfield. I just love you. I just so get a kick out of you. Just because just because life gives you a cactus doesn't mean you have to sit on it. There you
Ouch.
go. Ow.
I personally like to eat them. They're tasty.
Yeah. But so apropos, don't you think? Well said. Way to go, Mary. Way to go.
and I feel like this stuff isn't new. I feel like it's just different generations like will speak differently because I remember the old saying like if life gives you lemons then make lemonade, or like how Nick
Yes.
was saying if life throws you rocks make a castle. Really, as cheesy as it sounds,
Yes.
life is what you make it.
Yep.
And you are allowed to be happy. You are okay to be
Yeah.
happy. You know, a lot of people get stuck in what they should do and what they ought to do and what they have to do. If you feel like you have to do something,
Mm-hmm.
that's already holding you back. Think about when you want to do something. Doesn't that feel more freeing and more liberating than when you have to do something?
Absolutely. Life's just a bowl of cherries. There you go. Teresa.
I'm sorry, you all. I'm starting to lose power on my limited
Yeah,
supply of
I'm trying to
earbuds.
get to the end here.
So
Yeah.
I know you are, and
Okay.
so I just want to say this because I'm not going to be able to in about
Right.
10
Right.
seconds.
Yep.
Okay, so folks, now's the time to start believing in miracles.
Yeah.
If you don't have a mindset, given everything that's going on around you, you are the miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts are the miracle. Miracles are natural law. They're not the exception to it, as Bashar would say.
Mm-hmm.
He says the fact that you do not always necessarily experience your life as miraculous, that's the exception. And
Mm-hmm.
you are now at a place and a time where you are evolving past that limitation, past that limited perspective, where you can begin to open up those senses and see reality in a very different kind of way, knowing that it's actually coming from deep within you.
Yeah.
So that's my hope and prayer for everyone, and
Mm-hmm.
sending those thoughts to all of you that
Mm-hmm.
when you feel like giving up,
Mm-hmm.
don't. That's just when to get started.
Yeah.
And accept that responsibility, step up, look at your own inner self, do the work, people. Do the work.
Mm-hmm.
And you will see significant changes in your life. So
Yeah.
thank you for the time, Lori. I'm sorry to do that, but I'm now losing my ability to communicate.
Yep.
Love you
Yep.
all. Have a great weekend.
All right. Thanks, Teresa. Appreciate you. Okay. Nick, final thoughts?
Let's see. Final thoughts. Don't be an idiot.
Okay.
Life in the moment can be overwhelming when you're stuck
Mm-hmm.
in the physical, navigating the physical. Remember that you hold the power. Don't let no weird shaman that got paid $50 to make your family think you're doomed get away with it. So,
Think for yourself.
yeah,
Stop and think for yourself.
yep.
Yeah.
You only get cursed if you allow it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's
If you
energy.
believe it, then it's so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything's energy. Don't let it stick on you if you don't want
Yeah.
it. I
Right.
I can't talk for everyone, but I personally like a life where it's easier and pleasant and
Mm-hmm. Much more enjoyable. It makes life
yeah,
more enjoyable,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
And not so much work all the time.
yeah, exactly.
Once you get past it, things become much easier for you, don't you agree? I mean,
Oh,
it's night and day. You're
yeah,
living a completely different way, a
yeah,
whole new program, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very confused on why people subscribe to the masochist role.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's silly.
Yeah.
But,
Yep. Gotcha.
yeah.
Jasmine, final thoughts. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate you.
My final thoughts are going to be you are stronger than you think you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're more important than you think you are. You're
Mm-hmm.
more powerful than you realize. And you have that magic inside to make a difference. It's always scary to be the first one, but once you do it, you'll be surprised at how much easier life will get.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Really like what you said tonight, Jasmine. You were on it.
Thank you.
Grandpa Brian, final thoughts for you.
Well, for all those that are with us live and for all those that will watch later down the road, you've already started the deprogramming of your ancestral programming if you're watching this show.
Yeah.
Because most likely your ancestral programming doesn't involve anything that this show talks about. Just know that you have the spark of source in you, and you're light and love, and you're loved by so many, and you have so many beings cheering you on right now. And
That's
no matter
true.
how bad it gets, there's going to be beings that are going to unconditionally love you, and they're willing to help and any help that you need. So just
Yeah.
do
Ask
you
for
and
help.
enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful, Grandpa Brian. Thank you. Thank you so much. Sorry you're having so much difficulty tonight. It's been kind of hard for you. So, but thank you for what you added to
Yeah.
the conversation. Really appreciate that. Sophia,
Thank you.
final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I don't know.
Yeah.
Find out who you are.
Yeah.
Find out what you bring to the table, and get
Mm-hmm.
really, really good at it. Because
Ooh.
you're that way for a very good reason.
Mm-hmm.
Be nice to you.
Yeah.
Be heavily meditated.
Mm-hmm. Not
And
medicated.
enjoy
Meditated.
the life, man. Heavily meditated. I need a t-shirt, but I need one that has a goose on it. I'll find it.
I
Heavily
love that.
meditated.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah. I love you guys.
We love
We're
you
in this
too.
together.
Yes, we all are. And thank you so much for everybody that's joining us. The panel, the people that show up every week, thank you so much
Yeah.
for wanting to learn and be more a part of it. Thank you for that. Um, really be good to yourself, be kind to yourself, be in joy, be in love, and spread that around. If you see somebody having a bad day, lift them up, help them out, let them know there's a better way, and just be curious, be open minded, like Jasmine said, and be open to new concepts and ideas. You never know what can happen. You know, we've been doing this show and it's evolved since 2020. We started this show. And I think a lot of you have seen how much we've grown on the panel, how much we bring to it. And just know that you have that ability to do that for others. Just for an example, Mary Mansfield, you're one of those types of people. Scotty Boy, Chloe, all of you guys watching, you're all part of that team because you're spending your time here on Friday night. You're listening to the information. You want to learn, you want to expand. So kudos and bravo to all of you that are doing that because you really are making a difference in other people's lives. I know you take it with you. I know you carry it with you. It gives you something to think about. Hi, Trina. I know you had a busy night tonight and you would have liked to join, but I hope you were listening. I'm sure you were. You know, Trina's another one. She spreads the love as well and the wisdom. So, it is an honor, a privilege, and just wonderful to know you all and to be a part of it. So thank you for watching. If you like the episode and the show that we did tonight, give it a thumbs up. If you're new here and you just watched it tonight, subscribe. There's so much more in it for y'all. And you know, shift happens and we're all shifting and growing. I want a t-shirt that says that. I think I'll
I
make
want
one.
one of those too. I want
Yeah, I'm gonna make one.
it says stay medicated. And I want the
Yeah, I love that.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, just great love, great appreciation for all of you. And we'll be looking forward to seeing you all next week. And if there's someone out there that wants us to do a show about something, or you'd like to know
We're
more,
listening.
yeah,
We're
comment,
listening.
let us know, and we'll definitely take a look into it and see what we can do to help. But we're here to help. This is a joy for us to do. We take it seriously, all of us up here, and we want to help the collective out.
Oh,
And so that's why we're here. We're not here to try to make money. We're not here for any other reason other than to help you out and pass on that knowledge and information. So thanks for being a part of it. Love you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And look for the thumbnail for next week. There'll be something exciting, I'm sure. So take care. Peace out. Love to you all.
later.